Let's get this party started. I've been gone for weeks. Okay. Um, Thank you, Hugh. I appreciate you. Super chat break of the day. Hugh, along with other people, have been telling me to get a mic. I am going to get a mic. I'm still struggle streaming, but you guys can hear me okay, right? Don't pick on me. I'm here. I'm trying. All right, guys. So welcome yet again to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I'm your favorite pain in the ass from New York, Jen. You know, you guys can reach me on Instagram at On the Block with Jen, at Gmail at On the Block with Jen. If you have any show suggestions, if you have an idea, if you want to be on the panel, tonight's panel will be open. I'm going to need you guys to help me with this stream because my voice isn't what it should be. Okay. So welcome all and bear with me. I stayed away too long and I was like, I can't stay away any longer. Okay. So help me out with the algorithm. Hit that like for me. Hit that subscribe for me. And also, if you're catching this late, leave a comment in my comment section. Okay. Got to get back in the algorithm and get with you guys. Tonight will be an open panel. I will drop the link. You guys can come up. You already know. You can argue with me. You can rebut. You can disagree. You can agree. Okay, so my topic tonight is a little controversial per usual, right? Who would I be if I didn't bring the noise? Who would I be, right? Tonight's topic is passport bros. Thank you, Nina. Welcome. I love to see the ladies in the room. Fellas, I love you, but it's a lot of you, okay? It's a lot of you, and I need my female energy. So I'm very happy to see the ladies in the room, okay? That's when it's a party, when the ladies are here to talk shit with me. So today's topic is passport bros, are Black men the new Christopher Columbus? Now, a lot of people laughed at this when I posted it, right? How are Black men the new Christopher Columbus? And you guys know I embellish and I exaggerate, right? I see the world differently than most people, but I like making you think. And if you haven't heard the term passport bros, okay, it is literally a demographic of men who use their passport to leave the country to date and get sex from women who are more agreeable than American women. So there is a large demographic and growing of Black men specifically, hence passport bros, who leave the country to seek easy sex and to seek easy relations in general. Okay, they call themselves the passport bros. They're very proud of this. They're very proud that they leave the country and go get them some easy sex and some easy relations. Now, of course, they are paying for the sex. In comparison to Christopher Columbus was, of course, raping and pillaging and sexually assaulting and dividing people, almost wiped out the Taínos in Puerto Rico, et cetera, et cetera. Him and his boys went out there and gave the indigenous people, all kinds of diseases, syphilis and all kinds of stuff, right? Him and his homies went and mostly got lost most of the time. Although when we learned about Christopher Columbus in school, we learned him as someone who discovered things when really the motherfucker was just lost and ended up on different islands and lands of indigenous people and took advantage of them and did all kinds of horrific things to the indigenous people. So the reason why I compared, and you guys can disagree, we can argue, I like arguing. The reason why I think it's similar to the passport bros, because the passport bros in America are basically rejected men. They are rejected men. They are men that can't get along with American women, right? They're usually under a tax bracket of what American women would like to see and have while dating a man. So they know that, $40 in the Dominican Republic or in Colombia is a lot of money for a young prostitute who's trying to feed her children, trying to feed her sick mama, trying to take care of her siblings, right? These Black men know that. They know that $40 out there is like $400. They are not dumb. This is why they do it. I don't know too many women, unless she's a crack whore is going to take $40 from you happily and give you all kinds of sex, right? So, but unfortunately for the young women in Colombia and Dominican Republic and Brazil, $40 goes a long, long, long way. I watched a short documentary, a 20-minute documentary on the young prostitutes in the Dominican Republic that Tristan shared with me. I don't know if Tristan's going to be on today, but Tristan has shared it with me, and it's basically a 20-minute video. And it's the other side to what these passport bros brag about so much. It is literally the other side. It is the voice of the young women, the majority of them under the age of 18. Some are older, some are in their 20s and 30s. But you can imagine these passport bros are not going to Colombia, Brazil, and Dominican Republic and asking for ID, right? Especially if they're soliciting, these prostitutes, and these prostitutes are out there and they're just trying to get money to eat for the day or feed their family. No one's checking ID. And this, I'm going to drop the link for that documentary so you can see it in my caption after this stream is over, okay? But it is really the horrific side of those young prostitutes who have to act like they're happy to see these passport bros because they need the money, right? It's very, very, very sad, very horrific that these young girls have to sell themselves, right? But prostitution, as we know, is supposedly the oldest profession in the book. Unfortunately, it's not as glamorous as you would say, an escort tries to portray herself in America, where they're getting $3,000 per blowjob and they're running around with senators and presidents, right? These communities are poverty stricken, and these women are doing, the only thing that they can do, for the most part in these countries. The police in their countries look the other way. The men pimp them. So this is just their way of life. And the passport bros are very much taking advantage of these situations. Now, are the passport bros all monsters? No, I don't think the passport bros are all monsters, but I think, a good majority of them are just losers that can't get along in America with women. They're just not up to par, right? So there's like, let me go and deal with these women who are going to do whatever for $40, right? People in general don't like working for what they should have. People like shit easy, right? We know that it's a microwave society. So, if a guy is overweight here or unattractive or doesn't make a lot of money, of course he's going to jump a flight to Colombia, Brazil, or Dominican Republic and get him a girl for $40, right? That's what usually happens. Hugh, super chat break. Thank you for this super chat. Hugh Jana says, I wouldn't limit this to Black males. I'm from Australia, and Australian men do this in Southeast Asia all the time. This ain't a Black thing. Hugh, thank you for that rebut, and you are 100% correct. As a matter of fact, the Dominican girl was talking about men coming from Europe and coming from Australia and coming from, the UK. So this is not a Black thing. This is not a Black thing at all. But here's the thing. When you talk about white men, say, men from the UK and men from Australia and men from, those to me are Caucasian men. And Christopher Columbus was a Caucasian man. Now, some people argue he was Italian, he was this. If he was alive and around today, you would look at him and see Caucasian, white, whether he spoke French, whether he spoke Italian, right? If we're just narrowing it down to race, Black, white, and Asian, Christopher Columbus was a Caucasian man. Now, this is expected, in my opinion, from a large demographic of Caucasian men that are very well off, say like Epstein Island, say like the Weinsteins, right? White men are very known for, especially white men of means are very well known for going to these countries, Thailand, Dominican Republic, the countries I just named, Brazil. They're very well known for doing that, right? I can do a show on that as well, and it will go 4, 5, 6 hours. But I like dealing with things in my community specifically, which is the Black Latin community. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us right now. But you are 100% correct. It is a very white thing as well for these men, for white men to go to these poor countries. I've went to Turks and Caicos. I saw white women getting off those flights in droves looking for young black males. So no, this is not, this is not just a black man thing, but I'm talking specifically about the demographic that's growing that calls themselves the passport bros. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. But you are absolutely right, and I agree with you 100%. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't want that to be overlooked as well. But I think that's something that we all know about. We all know how the white elite get down in many different areas. Not just men that are flying to Thailand, not just white men that are flying to Thailand to get little boys, but in all industries, in the music industry, in the film industry, we know that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up. What's up, Sugar Bum? I'm gonna drop that. I think I see Haran on here. What's up, Haran? I'm gonna drop the link because you guys got to help me. I can't talk all the way through today. I may not do my length of time. Mama was under the weather and I'm just getting over it. Please, guys, the COVID is still out there. Wash your hands. Be vigilant of people that are talking in your face. Stop doing the kissing and hugging all the time. We're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Give the pound, give the elbow. You know what I'm saying? It's still out there. Wash your hands. Wipe off your doorknobs, your light switches, your remote controls, your phones. When you come in, we're touching them all day, okay? So take care of yourself. Take your vitamins. Work out if you can, all right? Because it is still out there. So I am dropping the link, and maybe some of you guys could come up and help me out with this stream because as you can hear, my voice is not so good. So Black 585 says, she is lying. We are regular guys. Black 585, can you elaborate on how you think I'm lying and what do you mean you're regular guys? I have no problem, guys, you disagreeing or rebutting. Just give me more than that. She is lying. We are regular guys. What do you mean by regular guys? I think you are regular guys. I don't think I said you weren't regular guys, but I think you are regular guys. Yeah. So yeah, that's true. But you have to elaborate so I can address it. Thank you, Dorley. And here comes Glenn. Hi, Glenn. How are you, darling? I've missed you. Glenn is our resident women do it too, right? I can say, men stick their finger in the ass twice a week. And you're like, yeah, but women stick their finger in their ass 3 times a week. Like, Glenn is our resident women do it too. Hi, Glenn. It is so good to see you. I can say anything. I can say men don't fucking drink enough water. Yeah, well, women never drink water. That's our Glenn. We love Glenn, but that is our Glenn. Glenn is the gender balance. Glenn is the gender balance, and we're happy to see him. We are happy to see him nonetheless. Andre Brockenbrough. I like that name, Andre Brockenbrough. It's illegal, correct? If you're talking about prostitution in the other countries, yes. It's not Nevada. Out here, the Bunny Ranch is very legal. But yes, it is illegal. It is very illegal. Hey, Just Being Jazzy. Good to see you. Neswip said, from what I gathered from your comments on the Star Report is that your ex used to clear a bankruptcy from his credit. No, not at all. He cleared nothing with me. But thanks for popping up. Yes, I do call into the Star Report every now and then and get the chat riled up. I love me some Star Report. He is off the chain. I buy my girls from Costco. Is it cheaper that way? No flight to Colombia for you, huh, Briley? So, going back to the topic, You can pull up these documentaries now where, these guys are going out there and they're having sex with women. I was on a show earlier. If you guys have not heard of Ask Nathaniel, spelled just like that, Ask Nathaniel, you have to follow him. He is really, although he's been doing YouTube for, I think, since 2013, he is like, listen, he is the new coming, okay? He is what these spaces needed. He's amazing balance. He's giving you the hard cold where people love the truth, without the bias, without the pandering. I was almost late to my stream because I was glued on his stream. So check out Ask Nathaniel. Hopefully I can get him on a panel. He is off the chain. And actually he had a gentleman who frequents Colombia on his panel talking about why he goes to Colombia and how much money he pays the prostitutes. And but I think the guy was a little delusional because he actually thinks the prostitute likes him. For some reason, he thought the prostitute liked him, and he was bragging that the prostitute told him, listen, I'm only having sex with the guys at the brothel. I'm not having sex with anybody outside of the brothel, so I'm only having sex with the guys in the brothel, and you, when you come visit me from America. I found it interesting because he believed it. And he said, he was like, hey, I believe her. And that's cool. And, I told her I'm not calling her anymore unless she calls me first. And now she's calling me first. So, I believe her, so this guy, there is the flip side to it where these guys are going out there and these prostitutes are making them fall in love. And the man was insisting that, he's giving her multiple orgasms and she's loving it. So not only is the girl a prostitute, she's a great prostitute because she has this guy believing that she is into him, right? So she's definitely a pro. At least, I don't know. The good thing is that she is of age. She's not underage. That's what he said. Hopefully, it's true. So that's another side of it where it's like these guys are going out of the country and getting bamboozled by these women, and these women are getting more and more and more money from them. So either way, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like you get more what they say, bees with honey than with vinegar. Because if you notice, if the men stay in America, women like money, want money. They want a man of means. They want a man that's at least financially stable. He doesn't have to be six figures. I know six figures became really popular and everybody and their mama makes six figures now. They want a man with six figures. Most of that is bullshit. Okay. Most men make 5 fucking figures in this country, unless you're in a pool where you could date men who are millionaires, which is a whole different story. But most men are making, 5 figures, and that's fine. As long as he's stable and he's not materialistic, I'm sure he can hold a family down. So, the men here are going to want, women are going to want a man who's stable and has money and can trick them off some money, whether you're a wife, a girlfriend, or jump off or whatever. We want to see this, right? That is life. You can't get around it. I don't care if it pisses you off. Go be gay. Go be an incel. That is life. You like men like attractive women. Women like men with money. That's how it is. That's how it's been since the beginning of time. Back in the cave era, if you were the guy pulling in 2 buffaloes, you were more attractive than the man who came in with 1 coyote. That is just life. Get the fuck over it. Stay single. Leave women alone. Go be gay. So it could be 2 men not complaining about money. I don't know. But that is life. And a lot of you guys are in fucking denial. So back to the bees with the honey and the vinegar. It seems that men just want to hear certain things, right? So there is a science behind this whole prostitution system that's going on in Brazil and in DR and in Colombia. There's a science to it. These women are just pretending they like these men. And these men are giving them more and more money. The $20 blowjob turns into $40 because she's pretending she had orgasms, right? The majority of women don't have orgasms. The majority of them fake orgasms. Don't believe me. Google the stats. Google the stats. Even married women are pretending they're coming. Now, you ask any regular guy, and he'll tell you, oh, my God, I made a woman come 10 times. Did you really? Did you really? Okay. First of all, the vagina inside and out is a science. And a lot of you guys don't fucking take the time to learn a vagina. So miss me with the bullshit. Okay. Miss me with the bullshit. Women freaking lie. So when you couple that with you're a prostitute in Colombia, DR, Brazil, how loud are you going to yell to get that $40? How loud are you going to yell to get that $100? But these men are insisting that they're going to Colombia, Brazil, and the Dominican Republic and making these prostitutes come to no end. They're making the prostitutes come to exhaustion, right? So, the science to it is, I guess they just want their money taken from them in a nice way. And that makes sense, right? Nobody wants to feel like they're being strong-armed for their cash, but either ways, you're paying, right? There's a saying that men love to say, right? Oh, you're gonna pay for pussy anyway, even if you marry, you're gonna end up paying for pussy anyway, right? So let's take a page out of a man's book. A man is always saying that, right? So it seems that when a man pays for a prostitute, he's come to terms with that's how life is. Right? You got to pay for pussy. Women want pussy. I mean, women want money and we want pussy, right? So I'm taking a page out of y'all's book, men. This is what y'all say, right? So these passport bros are going out to these countries, breaking off 2040. Then the woman acts like she's in love with him, keeps the text messages going while he's in America, keep the phone calls going in America, gives him the sob story, and the sob story is real. The woman is usually single mother, 2-3 kids, got a, the doc I was telling you about that I'm going to put in my caption after I finish my stream. Her family, the men in her family, her aunt, okay, was wishing her well on her day to go to work, to go get these tourists to pay her for sex. Like they saw her off in front of her home like she was going to a corporate job. Like they hugged her and they were like, hey, go get them, girl. She was like, all right, I'll be back later. Like that's how normal prostitution is in these countries. So all these women got to do with the passport bros is act like they're in love. And people of color, Latin, Black, Native, we're very, very emotional people. We're not cold, right? Our blood no es frío, right? We don't have cold blood. So it's very easy for us to fall in love and get all clingy and mushy. So what do you think when you have a Latina, okay, hablando español, para ese papi negro, papi ven acá? You know how easy it is for them to get these passport bros money? You know how easy it is for them, as disgusted and repulsed as they must be, that these guys are sweating on them, looking the way they look, because there's not fine guys out there. Let's keep it a buck, okay? Idris Elba isn't pulling up to get a 16-year-old prostitute, okay? Morris Chestnut ain't pulling up, okay? Lenny Kravitz ain't pulling up. Jason Momoa, Dwayne The Rock Johnson ain't pulling up to these prostitutes, okay? They may get their escort on and she'll come in looking like a model, all right, in the States, but these guys aren't pulling up to these 16, 17, 18-year-olds. So as repulsed as these young women, okay, are, all they have to do is text and call and act like they like that Moreno papi from America, right? The dude gets gassed and he's going to come out his pocket. And he's going to come out his pocket like he would in America. But he's going to come out his pocket. So, it begs the question, what is the real issue? What are you really flying out for? Because according to you guys, you got to pay for pussy anyway. So what is the science behind you'd rather get it from a prostitute who's pretending to like you? I'm just asking the questions. Super chat break. Chef Shapino, first of all, congratulations on your 1,000 subs. Okay, guys, Chef Shapino, follow him, subscribe to him. Amazing, amazing, profound, deep prophetic man, Chef Shapino. Congratulations on your 1,000. And I know 1,000 is not the goal. We like going past 1,000, but we always celebrate the 1,000. You worked hard for it and you did it without the BS. So salute to you, sir. And thank you for the super chat. Chef Shapino says for 2 American $5 blowjobs. Jesus, I would hate to see the woman that is charging $5 for a blowjob. Bless her heart, from an atheist. Bless her heart. So guys, that is what I gotta say about these guys, I am going to drop the link. Ladies, please feel free to come up and tell me why you think these men are going out there and giving these women, you know, starts at $20. But you know, then she starts talking in Spanish to she starts talking in Spanish, and then you know she could get my money from Tyrone and Jamal, right? So ladies, feel free to come up and tell me why you think they're doing this. What is really the difference? They're still coming out their damn fat pot belly pockets. I don't know what the difference is, but apparently there's a difference. Maybe they want their money taken from them nicely. Is that what it is? Yo no sé, right? Don Levon says, a prostitute's job is to pretend to like you no matter what country you are in. Yes, it is her job. But when you hear these passport bros speak, it is very, very hilarious how in love they think these prostitutes are. It is absurd. The guy was dead serious. He was actually trying to rationalize that this woman is saying the truth about only fucking the guys in the brothel. But other than that, she's faithful to him. He's the only American that she's fucking. And he believed it. And he was like, yeah, I'm going back out there in a couple weeks. And, you know, I'm going to link with her. But I'm not just going out there for her. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a little break. I see Glenn. Glenn, please come up and take the mic because my voice. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm feeling a lot better, but I still don't have my voice.
Oh, no. That's not good.
It's not good, but I'm on the mend.
Let me do some talking then.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Let's start with the passport bros going to do this thing. All right. It's not a new thing. Okay. You know, and I did mention, you know, women doing it too, but I'd say women from America doing it too. I mean, you got these Instagram hoes going to Saudi Arabia, getting a train ran on them by a couple princes in Dubai for a couple $1,000, you know, $100,000. And there's plenty of stories like that. And then they come back getting mad. They're like, oh, I caught a disease. Well, you decided to go all the way over there and fuck a goat. So, you know, since you're fucking Billy Bob and his goat, you know, what do you expect? You know, but they're sitting there crying about it, saying like, well, I was taken advantage of. No, you knew damn well what you were getting yourself into. That's why you took the $50,000, you know, for the trip. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I mean by, you know, women are doing it too, but it's not looked down upon when a woman does it. Like, well, she's living her best life. Let her live. Who are you to judge her? She's living her best life. Let her live and let live or whatever. And so you got guys going to Colombia and because they like the big booties and stuff like that. They want the big booty girls and they're paying for it. And it's like, well, you know what? Okay, if that's what is the culture down there, who are we to say what? I mean, I think it's despicable either way, you know, but at the same time, like, what's the point? What is the actual problem? Because if these girls are prostitutes and they're supposed to, and that's what they're, as you said in the earlier, like this girl, her whole family is giving her hugs and kisses goodbye. Like, go suck that dick, go suck it real good, make that money. Like, if they're doing that and that's their culture, then who cares if Joe Schmo from Wisconsin, you know, 350 pounds goes down there and pays $50 for a good blowy, you know, and he's happy. You know, like what is the actual problem there? Because
here's I want to address this first. Monty, 6'8", 270-pound actor says, I thought this was interesting. He said, I've been to over 20 countries and never had to trick. First of all, Monty, you were 6'8". That alone is a passport within itself, okay? Like I said, you would have been the guy in the cave pulling in the 2 buffalo. If you're 6'8", 270 pounds, you look like strength. You look like the epitome of masculinity. I'm sure you're peeling the vaginas off your face that are being thrown at you day in and day out. So I wouldn't think a man who's 6'8", 270 pounds is, you know, having a hard way to go, attracting women for free. Now, to address you, Glenn, the problem is this. The problem is that although it's the culture, it doesn't make it right. In the Philippines, parents are pimping children that are under the age of 10. So my issue is that these passport bros are taking advantage of very, very young girls. Just because it's the culture doesn't make it right. It's actually despicable. I don't have an issue with prostitution. I don't have an issue with them chicks that are selling booty and they're of age and they're like, this is how I want to make my money. I'm gonna be an Instagram hoe, a whore, a prostitute. More power to you. Get it how you live. But my issue is going to these poverty-stricken countries where these assholes, these Christopher Columbus passport bros, are taking advantage of that culture. The documentary I saw, none of those girls were over the age of 18. And that's the issue I have with it. If these women are of age and they just, hey, I don't want to work. I want to lay on my back and give you this vagina. You give me the $40. Cool. But these are children. At the end of the day, these are children. And these assholes are not asking for ID. They're very pompous and obnoxious about being able to go out of the country and get asked for $20. And it's fucking, it is criminal. It's disgusting. But to go back to what you said, yeah, it's not new. Like I would say 20 years ago, I had friends that were going to the Dominican Republic to get the GFE, the girlfriend experience, for, $5, $10, $20. A girl would stay with you all day and pretend she's your girlfriend. So this has been going on for a long time, but now there's an explosion of it and there's a cute name attached to it, where before it was like a secret thing. It was like, yo, you going to the DR, and it was like a secret thing. Now it's like these guys are actually, waving their passports and bragging that they're having sex with 16-year-olds for $20. Haran DeMarco, welcome to the panel.
Yeah, it was popping.
What's up? You guys got to talk with me today because
let's just cut to the meat of this, man. I mean,
let's cut to the meat.
Let's cut to the meat of this, Glenn. I mean, yes, Glenn. Yes, you are correct in what you're saying. Yes, there's fat, white, rich women are notoriously known to go to Jamaica, get bushels and throstles and uscles of black penis.
Isn't that, hey, Haran, isn't that how you got here?
Okay, okay, I'm gonna deal with you afterwards. I'm gonna deal with you afterwards. I'm gonna deal with you afterwards. I'm gonna remember that. You think you're hot shit out here with your little Dominican haircut? I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live for a minute. Let you live. Anyway, it's Viva la Coif going on over there. Anyway, let's talk about what it is, man. These guys are acting like these chicks actually love them. They're behaving as if there's some sort of emotional connection. And I think that's where the problem lies. When they go over there and they behave as if, okay, this is an opportunity to throw black women or any kind of woman under the bus, so on and so forth, whatever, what have you, and not taking into account that you're putting yourself in a situation where you have economic leverage. Okay? You're no different from if you're no different from an 80-year-old rich man behaving that this 20-year-old, or 30-year-old actually loves him. Well, she doesn't love you. She loves she's on board because you're rich. You're 80 fucking years old, bro. You know what I mean? Like let's call it what it is. Now, that's not often discussed because these are younger guys and so on and so forth. But anytime there's any kind of financial indifference going on, you have to really look at the bigger picture. And a lot of these guys, they go over there because in actuality, they essentially want to live the life of an individual in a different tax bracket, even though they make maybe $40,000 or $50,000 a year. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, guys who are making any kind of who are really making something shake. Not saying that they don't go over there, and they have a little fun or whatever. But most of the guys who are quote unquote passport bros, these guys aren't really, necessarily in the best of financial shape. You know what I mean? And they want to go over there. And some of them, they actually bring some of these women back with them to the States. And they find out that's a huge mistake because the moment they bring that girl back, and she realizes that you're just a guppy, You're just really a guppy in a very vast and large ocean, and she starts mingling with her people and her space. Then he finds out that he can't compete. This is really all about competition, man. A lot of these guys really can't compete here, and I don't really think people in the manosphere talk about it enough. These guys are going over there because they can't really compete.
Well, I always say there's no such thing as involuntary, celibate. Okay, because you could always go to the Bunny Ranch in Nevada and pay for some play. So you're not involuntarily celibate. Those broads will take your money and give you a time of your life, probably. So I mean, I think what the JR was saying is actually pretty accurate. The one comment before is that but most women only want most men for resources, and I think that's inherent in them. They want the man that can provide the most resources, that provides security and longevity. That's why guys are judged differently than women. Women are looked at as beauty objects. Men are looked at success objects. So yeah, these guys going over to these third world countries, they look like huge success objects because they got $20. Yeah. Because the average person around them don't got $20. So they look like success objects. They appear to be success objects, and these women flock to them because they look at the resources that this man can provide them, because they're only seeing what those resources could provide in them in their small sphere. And you're right. If you brought those same girls to America and she sees that, wait a minute, my lifestyle's a lot better back home than you are here. You're a piece of trash out here, but you're a king over there. I want to go back, and it's true. But the problem is not necessarily the guys looking for ass somewhere else. I mean, just like if you're paying 50, let's say $7 a gallon for gas at Arco, but Chevron is $4.50. You're going to Chevron, okay? Right. Like that's just common sense. So if you can't afford the broad down the street because she's too expensive, you're gonna save up your money and you're gonna go to the DR and you're gonna, find a prostitute out there to pay for play. If that's what your goal is. I mean, you're gonna get more bang for your buck out there. Pun intended.
Let me address YouTube user really quickly. He seems to be very passionate about this. Excuse me. He's asking, have any of us been to the countries we're talking? I've been to Turks and Caicos. I've seen the white women, like I said, getting off the plane to get the young black schlong. He's saying you sound bitter. I don't know who he's referring to.
Glenn has been to DR. That's where he got his haircut.
I've been to Haiti. I've been to Haiti. Thank you, Haiti.
No one. I don't know what talking about, but
look, the DR was one time, okay, and it was cool.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the DR, okay.
I went to the DR because I was in Haiti, and then they share the country.
I mean, so. the DR is just a plethora of beautiful women. I'm not saying I don't see the reason. I'm just saying, let's just call it what it is.
Well, I mean, it's funny that these guys find them these girls are gaming them,
Of course.
And they're stupid to think that these prostitutes actually love them. No, they love your resources. Okay, they love how fast you come.
That's women. Yo, let me address that. Oh my God, Glenn. So that same guy that I'm talking about that I saw on Ask Nathaniel, he was saying that the women I'm going to repeat it, but it was so repulsive because he was saying that the prostitute, she's always saying like leche, 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 which translates
milk,
to milk,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
which
right.
translates to hurry up and come, right? Mm-hmm. He thought that this was endearing. I'm like, do you not know that means hurry the fuck up?
Mm-hmm. She had a 12 o'clock appointment and you're at 12:02. Okay.
Right. He
okay.
thought it was endearing. It was sexy. If a woman, any woman in any country, is rushing you to come, fellas, she don't want to be there. Do you not know that? She doesn't want to be there. Your stroke game is bad. She got shit to do. You're fucking boring. She's not involved. She doesn't want to be there. So you passport bros, when you hear leche, 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 she wants you to hurry the fuck up. Okay? Because she's thinking about the guy that pays more than you. I couldn't believe that he thought this was endearing. I want to address this. Coco says, if the girls aren't forthcoming about their age and those girls know what they're doing, then how is that the man's fault? I think she meant the man's fault, apostrophe S, but I'll take it. Here's the thing. A man knows when he is in front of a child, when he is fucking a child. Men know. Now, I know men aren't the greatest of discernment. You guys are simple creatures. But I think you know the difference between a grown woman and a child. And if you watch this documentary in the Dominican Republic specifically, those girls look like little girls.
Yeah.
Okay, they look like they're built like 12-year-old boys. As a matter of fact, the prostitute that was talking was saying that the men like the women, like she's popular because she's very small, she's very thin, and she doesn't have big lady parts. So these men are targeting children, and
Well,
that's the man's fault.
Have you been to Haiti? Because
No.
because Haiti and the DR like I said, they're the same country. They just split in half. The women in Haiti, adult women, look very young because they're malnourished. Like they're losing pigmentation to their color of their hair. They look like 12-year-old boys, and these are adult grown women. So I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm saying when you're in that situation, and most of the women out there don't have curves because they're very malnourished. I mean, their protein out there is so minimal. They're on a very high carb diet. So they don't have the regular bone structure or the muscle development that you would see a healthy woman in America have. So it could be very misleading because one of our tour guides, when I was in Haiti, I did a youth outreach in Haiti to stop sex trafficking back in 2017. And when I was out there, our tour guide was like 22 years old. And she looked like my son's age at the time. And he was, I think, 9 or 10. And, the same stature, but a little taller than him. And I thought she was a boy, because of her frame. So it's really hard when you go to these foreign countries, and a lot of them don't even give ID. They don't even have IDs in some of these third world countries. Like the government is just as corrupt, is so corrupt. Like in Haiti, the government is extremely corrupt. And so they don't give out proper identification or anything like that.
Here's the thing though. When the pimps come over and ask these tourists what they want, they literally say, I can get you a 12-year-old. I can get you a 13-year-old. I can get you a 14-year-old. They're not telling these men, what woman do you want? They literally know that these men prefer children. And they're asking them, I can get you a little boy. If you want a virgin, it's going to cost you much more money.
Yeah. And I came across that when I was out in Haiti, and we literally raided the camp that they were in. And we brought the kids back to our sanctuary, our refuge that we had. It was we were in a hospital that we had armed guards. So we would bring them. We literally went in there. This guy tried to solicit us, all these young kids. And 5 minutes later, we walked in there, took all the kids and left. And we brought them to the sanctuary, and they got to go to school and stuff like that. And we did that when I was in Haiti back in 2017. But what I just saw a comment earlier that what you just highlighted. It was about marriage rates, and I found that interesting. Where was that at?
It was the same person. It was a previous comment of the same person.
Yeah, this is interesting because it is true. The historic rates are low in America for marriage. And it's also true, men are done with American women. Most men don't want to deal with American women anymore.
Reason being?
There's plenty of reason beings. I mean, I would say feminism is one of them. But there's been a lot of positive things that feminism has done. But I think the modern feminists, if they're trying to look at a male archetype, they've chosen the frat dude, the frat guy. You know, if they're trying to mimic a male archetype, it would be the frat guy. And I think that's a really bad archetype to choose. And I think that's where you're seeing an increase in these mail order brides and foreign relations, guys going to Dubai or they're going to Romania to find women that are more traditionally, raised and have more of a traditional worldview. And I don't fault them. Like I don't fault women for settling for the average guy. If you don't like the average guy, then don't settle for the average guy. Then go find the guy that you want. If you don't like the American women, that's fine. Don't settle for American women. Go to a country and find the type of woman that you want. You have everything every guy has, and every woman has a right to do so. But the prostitution of young women and young kids, no, that's disgusting. That's Epstein Weinstein shit. That's Bill Clinton shit. And we all know Bill Clinton was on that plane, so there's no getting around that. That's a lot of issues, but from our nation to their nation to look at it, they're like, yes, we say that's illegal here. They don't see it as illegal there in a lot of these third world countries. So we're using our moral compass to judge what other people do in their world, and it's we could say it's bad for us, but those people that are doing it out there on the regular that know that that's their life and that's what they choose to do. It's like me telling Haran he's weak because he can't bench as much as me. Who am I to say he's weak? Who am I to say he's weak?
So I want to address the JR. The JR said, unless you are an expert on women like me, most men don't know how to vet women to be reasonably assured she likes you for you. JR, do you want to cam up? So you're saying that a woman can't fool you into thinking she likes you?
I just want to say one thing.
I think what he's trying to say is that he knows how to vet. Like he studied, he's probably studied sociology, or he's probably studied intersexual dynamics. And because of that, knowledge, he knows how to vet better. That's probably what he's saying.
I think a lot of this has a lot to do with money and options, much more than we're actually admitting. I think one of the main reasons why marriage has plummeted, marriage rates have plummeted, is because, well, women have different financial options now than they did, in previous generations. Women can become CEOs, women can become rich. Women can do a lot of things that their grandmothers and their mothers could not do, and they can say no to marriage and be okay, as opposed to women from other countries who are not in the same financial space, who do not have the same opportunities, but they have to, but they're basically ripe for the picking. A man from America can actually go down there and, find him a good woman who is quote unquote traditional. Well, and my thing is like, well, is she traditional, or does she just not have the options?
Haran. So is that not proof, right? That here in this country, although men try to use "you're not married" as an insult and a talking point, is it not proof that when women are independent and financially stable, there is not much they need a motherfucking man for? And that's why the men here are trying to diminish their accomplishments, like having a degree, having a good job, making more money.
That's absolutely correct.
If we bring up the dead guy, okay, started an army of men to diminish women who had what? Degrees and more money than men. Remember that? The dead guy did that. But the proof is in the pudding. The reason why women aren't interested in marriage either is because why add a man to a life that's already fulfilling? Women can have sex now randomly. They have their own car, their own money, their own home. Okay, so now there's a power play going on, but the proof is in the pudding. Why are these men leaving the country? Because those women need them.
Or they don't need them.
Those women need those $40 fucking dollars. The women here are rarely going to need the $40 fucking dollars. So there's the proof. That is why the men here were trying to diminish the accomplishments of women here. Like, you got a degree, nobody gives a fuck. No, you give a fuck. That's why you're going to look for women that have nothing. I want to welcome Tony, David, SHS. Welcome, Tony. What do you have to say?
So I live in, first off, thank you. I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. But I live in Colombia. I live in Bogota.
Oh, you live there now?
I'm right here, right now. Yeah.
Holy fuck. Okay, tell me what you see. Are you black?
I am black. Yeah. And I made 150,000. So all the stereotypes that you guys have just said are all false.
False.
They're all false.
You're in a fight.
With the exception of, obviously there's the 1% of people that do crazy.
I was just about to say, there's just because there's an outlier doesn't mean that something is false.
Yeah. There's obviously the 1% that go for.
I mean, you can find a 7-foot Asian. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean all Asians are 7 feet tall.
And so like I think you're kind of beating up on a lot of men that come out here for a life change, a lifestyle, or perhaps they want to come out and open up a business or buy a building or you leverage the wealth that they've built in the States that they can't actualize. You're putting all these men into these boxes without actually having a conversation with one. You feel me?
Are you a passport bro? Do you consider yourself a passport
bro? I've actually had a conversation. I've actually had conversations with 2 passport bros.
No, I didn't hear him.
Passport bro. What's the definition of a passport bro?
A passport bro are the guys that literally use their passport to fly out of the country, America specifically, to get women that they can hire for $40, $20, and just live their best life because their money is long out there because there's a lot of poverty. That's a passport bro. I'm not talking about men that go to other countries and start businesses. I think you're talking about an entirely different demographic. But why did you go to Colombia specifically, Tony? I'm curious.
I went to Colombia because my money goes further. I speak a little Spanish, and the women here are gorgeous.
I think you're.
I'm sorry?
Are you attractive?
I think I'm attractive.
What's your height?
5'10".
You're 5'10"?
5'10", 170 pounds.
Do you work out?
I do, every day.
Do you still have your hair?
I do have my hair, yeah.
Is it receding?
Yes, a little bit.
How old are you?
32. Okay.
Do you want to cam up?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not ready for it yet. I'm corporate. I have a corporate job, I work remote. But I mean, my whole thing is, I think you're even though I know people that come out here that maybe make $40,000, $50,000, and maybe they struck out and they actually have girlfriends that they hang out with all the time. So it's not all these men that come down here to have, sex with, girls for $20 or $40. In fact, I don't even know any places where that's even a thing where you can come out but you would have to actually go searching for that. Like, you have to go looking for that. You know what I mean? That's not the norm.
Well, okay, so I gotta give you some pushback because I've watched several streams where there are a panel of men discussing play, specifically the one that I was talking about that was on Ask Nathaniel. And they talk about this very openly and freely. And it's a thing. Like, they were naming the places they go. They were naming the beaches they go. And they're not hidden beaches off on a private island. They are the tourist areas, the very popular places in Colombia and in Dominican Republic. So it's not a secret. And it's a lot of people. So I don't know. Maybe, like you said, you're corporate. Maybe you're in a whole different world and defending something that has nothing to do with you because, according to you, you're not part of that life or that world.
Tony, it doesn't sound to me like you're. It sounds to me like you're just a guy who went out there to build a better life for yourself. It sounds like, you sound like you have a good head on your shoulders. You have actually you're gainfully employed. I don't know you, of course, but it sounds like what you're explaining to us is a little bit different from what a lot of other guys have been, explaining. Like, for instance, like I said, I've been on particular panels with men who have called themselves passport bros, and they have flat out said to me they prefer going out there, and finding traditional women because they do not perceive American women, particularly Black women, as the kind of women that they want to seek marriage with because of feminism, a number of other things, whatever it is. That was a number of the reasons that I was given. I don't hear
But
those reasons coming from you. You sound like a guy
Haran,
who want. What's up?
the question is like, if that was the case, like let's exclude the prostitution aspect out of it. So
Hmm.
let's say if these guys are going to different countries, like Tony, better his
Hmm.
life, and to find a
Right.
more what he would consider as a agreeable woman or a
Okay.
more traditional woman, what is that? There's that doesn't make him a passport bro. That doesn't, that makes him just a guy that's out for what he finds
That's
best in
my
his.
point. That's
Yeah,
my point. You know what I mean? So it doesn't sound like he's what we're referring to, unless
yeah.
somebody's got the wrong idea of what this is. If not, please educate.
Yeah, because I think what passport bros are the unattractive guys that they don't do well here in America with women, and so they decide that they're gonna save up some money, go to the DR, go to Colombia for a week, and pay to bang as many girls as they can with their $1,000 because they know the $1,000 out here wouldn't even give them a hand job.
Look, dude,
So
I've seen some of these guys making videos with girls, and these girls look 12. I don't think that doesn't sound like you, Tony. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like these guys seem a little off the hook. They seem to be glorifying a particular lifestyle and so on and so forth. Again, you sound like a guy who just went out there to start a business and seek a better life for yourself.
Tony, do you have a girlfriend out there?
No, I go on dates, but I don't have a girlfriend.
Been
But
on-
what I will say though is when you bring a girl back to your Airbnb or to your hotel, there's security that checks all of their IDs and their passports. And then they record their IDs and their passports into the thing. And there's big signs that say like, we're against sex tourism, all that around the city, especially in Medellin, which is that's really where they go is Medellin. So like I think yeah, there's probably guys that do that, but all the guys that I know, especially black men, there's so many black men that live in Medellin permanently. It's like at least 200 or 300 from the States that live here, that live there, So I just haven't seen it. And these are guys too that, probably are fat. Probably some of them are divorced from they're older, they're in their 40s, their 50s. They divorced from black women. So they moved down to Colombia to start another life for them. I don't see anything wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with it.
I don't see anything wrong with that either, Tony.
Okay, so I don't I don't see anything wrong with that either. So I'm specifically talking about passport bros. It doesn't sound like you qualify, but it sounds like something bothered you about what I said. So what made you come up and defend something that you don't have anything to do with, you claim?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I've never heard one of these passport bros on any channel. I heard you on Star last night when you were talking about these men going to all these other places for these women. And, I support if a guy doesn't look good or has trouble with women in the United States and he wants to come out to another country and leverage the little money he has or all the money he has to get a woman. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think maybe some of the guys that that you've seen that have said bad things about American women, particularly black women, they probably had something happen in their past. This is why they think that. I don't think those guys naturally hate black women. I just think maybe they had a bad experience with black women, So I just think that you should listen to, or maybe have one of those passport bros on your show before you start talking negatively about, these different people.
All right, so here's the thing. I know you're new here, but I talk negative about whoever I want to talk negative about. That's what I do. I don't have to have them on the panel. But I do say I have an open panel. So if a passport bro wants to come up on the panel right now, or if he wants to come up on a future panel, I'm fine with that. But I will talk negative about the men that I've seen say out their own mouth they are paying underage women to have sex with them. I will talk negative about them. I've always talked negative about them. And I will continue talking negative about them because it's a very negative, despicable thing when you take your fat pot-bellied pockets to a different country to take advantage of women that are disenfranchised, okay, are underage, and are giving you blowjobs for $20. I will talk negatively about that. If you don't qualify, let it fly, put it in a bubble, blow it away. If it's not about you, great. But I will talk negative about them, whether they're in the room or they're out of the room. You don't seem like a great resource because you've never heard of prostitution in Colombia, which I find.
I've heard of. Yeah, but not underage. I mean, like, I'm telling you, it is. You will get, the police will arrest you in Colombia if you're if you're trying to have sex with an underage woman. Like, you go to a hotel and the person sees that, they'll probably call the police. So yeah, like, I just don't believe that. I mean, yeah, probably there are men out here all over in France and everywhere that are going out and having sex with people there, and I think that's despicable. And you should, talk against it and be negative about it. But my point is it's not. Don't paint the wide brush of every guy that goes out to Colombia as somebody that's interested in doing.
Oh, here, Tony. This is for you guys, the ones that are bothered by my wide brush. This is for your comfort. You're new here, but I do this every now and then when somebody gets mad at my wide brush.
That's my damn sign.
Is that better? Are you good now? Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Jen, can you highlight something from the JR? Most women in the U.S. are chasing dudes out of their league.
Oh, where are you? Where are you? That's a good one.
It's a little closer to the end. It's
fourth from the bottom.
Fourth from the bottom.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, here we go. JR says most women in the U.S. are chasing dudes out of their league. Shots fired. Ladies, what do you think about that? Ladies in the chat. The JR says most women in the U.S. are chasing dudes out of their league. Funny, I thought it was the other way around. I'm going to do a Glenn now. Most men are chasing women. Most men are chasing women out of their league.
Well, first of all, you know what? I don't believe in leagues. I don't believe in leagues.
But it exists. We cannot believe in it.
Yes, you do, Glenn. Yes, you do. You literally told me. You literally looked in the eyes of a fat woman, and he said, "Let's not cap. Let's stop the cap."
I didn't say she was out of my league. I didn't say she was out of my league. I just said no.
Glenn wears a hat that says "No fat chicks."
Yeah, exactly.
Am I right?
Exactly.
She's out of my league.
Let's stop the cap, man.
That's not out of my league. It just means it's not my taste.
Oh, okay.
Tomato.
Semantics. We playing semantics? Okay.
We're playing nuances.
Nuance. Oh, okay.
Okay, so Tony dropped off. I didn't understand Tony's angle. Like, I don't know. I'm a whole different breed. If someone's saying something about, I'm Puerto Rican, in case anybody didn't know, I'm Puerto Rican. If somebody is doing a panel and they're talking about Puerto Rican women or Puerto Ricans, I'm not jumping up there to say don't paint with a broad brush. I don't give a fuck. If it doesn't apply to me, it doesn't apply to me. Like, it just doesn't. I'm not coming up to defend the whole Puerto Rican culture. I don't represent the whole Puerto Rican culture. I represent moi. So I just find it interesting that Tony came up. It seemed like there was a lot of naivete in his information or denial. I don't know if it was naivety or denial. But yeah, Colombia especially is a passport bro haven. So, okay.
I think to JR's thing, I think it's true. Most women are chasing dudes out of their league. All right, the average woman wants a guy with 6 figures in his bank account, 6 packs of abs, and at least a 6-inch dick. All right, so they want. 6
inches average. What's wrong with? We can't even get a 6-inch. Now we got to settle for 5.
But they think that they deserve it. No, they think that they deserve it. Y'all think that you deserve a dude with 6 figures.
I do.
That's what you think. But I'm just saying, you got these.
7. I want 7.
But you got women.
7 figures.
You got women. You got women out here that think that because they got a little bit of they supposed just because they have the pussy that they're gold. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you got a lot of women that are out of shape. You got a lot of baby mamas with like 4 or 5 kids that are looking for the NBA star to come save them. All right. And then why do you think you deserve that guy? Why do you deserve LeBron James? Like, what you got? You want LeBron James to raise all your kids? Like, it's ridiculous.
I think you're exaggerating, but okay.
No.
Jenny, let me ask you a question. Jenny, let me ask you a question.
Me and JR are about to fight. We about to fight. Because the JR just said it isn't men in America who are trying to bat out of their league. There very rarely are men in this space who openly say they feel entitled to dime pieces. They don't say it, but look at my DM. They don't say it, but look at my Facebook inbox. They don't say it, but watch them talk to me when I walk down the block. They may not say it on these panels, but trust me, a lot of these lames and scrubs and bozos really, really think they're entitled to dime pieces just because they have a nutsack, Glenn, like you say about women. They think they have a nutsack. They will come and say my name with a whole missing tooth confidently. We're safe on the trunk with Jen. Confidently.
Hey, look, listen, man.
You just got fans. That's all it is. You got fans.
Jen, let me ask you a question, Jen. Let me ask you a question. How many big girls you know was checking for big dudes? Have you ever known in your life where you known a girl who was a bit portly and she's like, wow, look at the stomach on that one. She was like, yeah, that's wow, look at the chin. Look at
no woman ever.
Look at those look at those chins.
You know why? Because I see a lot of women online talking about they want them a big bear, they want the dad bod. Men have never said I want the mom bod. Men have never said I want the big bear woman, but women.
You're playing with semantics.
Women say I want the dad bod. I'm against the dad bod. Fuck the dad bod. I go to the gym. Take your ass to the gym.
That's different. That's different. That's different. No, that's different, Jim. When I say a big woman, I mean I'm talking about Lizzo.
Talking about Precious.
Mom bod. That's not a mom bod. Okay, that's not a mom bod. All right, a mom bod is like, okay, she was prom queen once. She's 20 years removed. No, a big chick. No, that's what I'm asking you, Jen. How many big chicks you know actually was like, yeah, I'm checking for some big dudes. Yeah, where the big stomach poppies at? All that big bear and
where all the Rick Rosses at? Exactly,
where all the Rick Rosses at? Now, all that dad bod stuff, like, come on, now that could be a dude who used to have a 6-pack. He's like what? He's like maybe what, Glenn? What, he's what, 20%, 25% body fat?
Yep, he's probably about 25, 20%.
Yeah, 20.
He's not 30. He's not 30 yet.
Yeah, he's nowhere near that. That's the dad bod range.
He got a little bit of love handles. That's about it.
I'm talking about 40, 50, 60%.
The guys that can't see their dingus when they go pee.
These dudes ain't seen their dick since Clinton been in office. That's the type of dude that I'm talking about.
And no women would want that.
How many girls you know check for that kind of dude? Big girls you know check for that kind of dude.
Well, I don't know the women that are saying this online, but I do see the comments and the posts talk about they want the big bear and they want the dad bod. Women only talk like that. You don't hear men saying, I want the mom bod. No man is ever saying, I want the fupa, the pooch, the girl that
exactly.
Of course not. You know why? Because women are sexual objects.
Look at what Jabari said. No longer chiseled. That's exactly what I'm talking about. No longer chiseled. Okay, if he's no longer chiseled, okay, that's not a big problem. But that's completely different from a dude who's like Rick Ross. Like that's a gutted out, like his neck is everywhere. His titties got titties like that.
His breath smells like Doritos.
Exactly. That's something completely different. And
you know what? Let me tell you something. This is a big blow right here. Contacto RD says if all Dominicans were black, like they like to push, they wouldn't be going to DR for the women. Ooh.
Ouch.
Oh. Ouch.
Damn. But here's the funny thing though, like,
ouch.
Like you have to understand that men and women rate each other differently. Okay, Men are looked at as success objects. That's why women are willing to settle for the dad bod, because if the dad bod is pulling in 150K a year and it can supply the lifestyle that she wants to live, she's gonna fall in love with that dude.
Please don't cap, Jen. Please don't cap.
Okay,
If a
all right.
dad bod
Sorry, say that again because I was reading the chat. My bad.
I said if a guy that has a dad bod can offer you a lifestyle that you want to live, not you, but most women. Most women will take the dude with the dad bod that makes 150 to 250K a year that can supply the lifestyle that they want to live over the chiseled dude that's broke. They want to bang the chiseled dude that's broke, but they want to live with the guy that could live the lifestyle that they want to live.
I know, but I'm not gonna cap. I mean, Biggie Smalls had women. I mean, any man who could provide the lifestyle that a woman wants, he could look like Penguin from Batman. I'm not gonna deny that.
So that means that's what I'm saying. Men and women judge each other differently. Guys, we don't give a fuck about your degrees.
But you leave that same woman alone with a man that's chiseled, and she's gonna slip and fall on his
Oh
head.
yeah, of course she is.
Of course.
That's why that's called alpha fucks and beta bucks. The betas are the guys and the girls that she don't really want to be with, but she will live with because he can supply the lifestyle that she wants. But as soon as she gets the opportunity to go fuck that alpha, she gonna be all over his dick. Yeah, that's common sense. Guys should know that by now. All right, that is like Kenny said, it's the law of the land. But you're not gonna see guys go like, oh, you know what? She has degrees. Fuck, she's smart. Oh my God, that's amazing. No, they don't care. We don't care about your degrees. We got degrees. We got money. We don't care about your money. It's irrelevant to us. Your money doesn't fuck with my money. All right? Like, that's why guys don't care about the success of women. Women are looked at as sexual objects. Do you turn me on? No. Okay, I don't want to be with you. I don't care how many degrees you got. You just don't do it. Your education level doesn't arouse me. Okay, but your body does.
JR says, sorry, if you rate yourself as a dime piece, there isn't anything more to talk about. Do you mean me or women in general? You gotta clear that up for me, and I'll respond. Okay.
Like Jabari just said, no one wants the dad bod from a broke dude. Thank you very much, man.
Seriously.
Thank you very fucking much, man.
I think Coco should cam up because I see her in the chat room.
Coco, come up. The ladies don't ever come up, man. I love when the ladies come up and they just like, nope, I ain't going up there. I'm talking to these dudes from the chat.
But seriously, like, think about it. You have to agree that you judge men differently than men judge you.
Yes.
Okay, so that means there's a different criteria for you when you look for a man. Just like there's a different criteria for a man when he looks for a woman.
Not so much, Glenn.
There's a lot. Look, if you are not sexy, the guy does not want to be with you.
Jen, stop. Jen
Jen needs to get a big ass cap. She needs to put a cap on and just cap it up.
If you think I'm capping, look at my following list on my fucking Instagram page. It's nothing but personal trainers. Why? Because I like looking at men that are fucking chiseled.
Absolutely.
So when I look at a man, I'm like, is he fuckable? What that mouth do? Damn, his arms big. Can he carry me and not like break his back? When he's benching in the gym, I'm thinking, damn, I'm only 115. He could bench me. That's how I look at men. So don't think that I'm looking at men like, hey, is he financially stable? Yeah, all those are pluses. But I have to see you naked too.
But you're an outlier. You're an outlier. I'm saying most women will sacrifice the chiseled look. She'll bang the chiseled look, dude, but she will live with the guy that has the dad bod that could supply the Porsche, that could get her hair done and her nails done every time she wants, that give her that shopping.
She got caught with the pool boy. And she got caught with the fucking pool boy, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
That isn't bad though.
He's not called the pool old man or even the pool guy.
Hell no. The pool boy.
Exactly.
Okay, because he just turned 18. All right.
Okay.
Old enough to be her son.
It is what it is.
And I saw them in Turks and Caicos. I saw them. Them white women were like, yeah, we come out here once a month. I was like, all right.
Married at home, the husbands with the kids. It's a girls' trip. We're going on a girls' trip to Jamaica because we're gonna go find yourself some dick.
Tristan! Jabari said stop the cap. Jabari, what cap? You guys know I give it to you 100. Y'all just don't accept it from me. Y'all don't accept it. You don't want what I'm saying to be the fucking truth. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. You don't want what I'm saying to be true.
No, he's not saying that you're lying. I mean, we've had plenty of conversations, Jen. We have plenty of conversations, and you're very clear on what the fuck you like and what the fuck you don't like. I mean, I'm not saying that, but what Glenn is saying is that most. Okay, I'm just gonna call it what it is. You think like a guy in a lot of ways, so you know what I mean. You think kind of dudeish. So we get it. We understand.
Yeah, we get it. We understand.
But most women,
I'm not dudeish.
You know what I'm saying? But most women, they're gonna deal with a dude. They're gonna deal with a dude who, as they say, isn't as chiseled. If there's a number connected to that, is there some bread connected to that? Is there some opportunities connected to that? Let's call it what it is. And on the side, she could be, and on the side, she's dealing with, the kind of dude that you say you deal with, Jen. The kind of dude that you want to mess with, and so on and so forth. They compartmentalize. Women compartmentalize at a particular stage in their life. Usually it's around the college age where they compartmentalize and say, black women, they tend not to get out of that phase, in their lives. They're still chasing them pretty eyes and that baby hair with the side well into their 40s and 50s. Okay, they'll run.
I mean, we all know Jen thinks like a dude. We all know Jen thinks like a dude. She got with the homeless guy. I mean, like she didn't care that he was broke.
You know what?
Just like most men don't care if the girl's broke.
Listen.
He took care of that dude and he took care of her. Look, Glenn, man, it was no file.
Glenn, let me validate you. I got with the homeless guy because he was over 6 feet tall, a body of a god, perfect ass, perfect arms. I was like, I could clean him up.
Jen, but guess what though, Jen? We didn't think. Jen, when you told us that story, ain't none of us thought that you went home with JJ. Okay, seriously. None of us thought that you went home with JJ. We assumed. We literally assumed that this dude fell from Mount Olympus and landed on the beach in a tent. You found him and you took Thor home with you. We literally assumed that was
we already knew he was an angel. We already knew he came from heaven. We did not think that you were doing your charity service, finding some homeless guy, cleaning him up and sending him on his way.
Because let me tell you, if that wasn't the case, we would have clowned you. We would have clowned you.
No, he was definitely, I was like, oh my God, straight out of heaven. I took a look at that ass.
Look, listen, Jen found a Lamborghini in the middle of the street with the keys on the seat.
And took that shit for a ride.
And she said, she jumped in that bitch and said, I'm taking this shit home.
Haran, I was like, how much money do I have in my account? How much money can I spare? It was too much, by the way. It was too much money to spare. It was too much.
Oh my God.
I don't recommend it.
But that's what the dude. But the funny thing is, the way that you just mentioned it is what dudes do. How dudes pursue women too. They're like, how much money can I spare? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's real. No, it's real.
Serious.
No,
I'm
it's
being
real.
dead serious. You just highlighted a point. Why guys are going to other countries to bang these broads, because they're like, how much money can I spare? Because this girl is costing me a lot.
I'm going to give y'all some game.
I can afford a month over here, or I can afford 6 months in Thailand. I think I'm going to Thailand. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna give y'all some game right here, and Glenn might get mad at me for a second, but I'm gonna give y'all some guy code right here. When men want to step out, and we look at those finances, we say to ourselves, "Okay, can I afford a 6, a 7? How much is the 9 gonna cost me?" And we figure out some budgets, and we no, this is real.
The spreadsheet.
We sit down, we do the numbers. We do the numbers.
The spreadsheet.
Exactly. We got the spreadsheet. We call up our boys. We're like, hey man, I'm thinking of putting an 8 on the team. I know that's another extra 10 grand or 30 grand a month. Let's see if we can stretch this.
Hey, are you hiring, homie?
Exactly.
I need to make an extra $20,000 a month. Exactly. Like, are you hiring? Can I work part-time?
Exactly.
I said, look what I found in the trash. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I'll clean it up. It's just a little dusty.
It happens.
It's lightly used.
Oh, God. Jabari, before Coco chimes in, Jabari, you use a lie. Talk about, he said those women are not willing to risk the lifestyle. That's crap, okay? When I went to Turks, the women were there, and I think the men know. I think when those men are wealthy, they don't give a damn about them girls' trips once a month. They're like, get out of my hair, get out of here. I don't care. Because they're doing it. They're probably doing it with their secretary or their intern or whatever. Trust me, I saw them, and I spoke to a couple of them, and they were like, yeah, we come out here once a month, and I was like, wow, okay, go ahead, girl, get it how you live. Hi, Coco.
Hi.
What have you got to say about this madness? Now, this is not about prostitution. I ain't got an issue with prostitutes at all.
Well, I mean, on several notes, like one is if it's underage, then yes, that's foul. That's absolutely disgusting. My point earlier that I made is what Glenn had touched up on. It's because it's true. Like, you go into America today and guys have to literally sometimes ID or double check what a girl's age is, because these 16-year-olds are looking like they're 25 because they want to look older, because they're trying to trap themselves somebody. So that's why it's different in other countries where there are plenty of women, because my family's from Costa Rica. So a lot of the people out there too look a lot younger. One, they eat really clean because your chicken's in your damn yard. So, I mean, it's not like they're getting all these hormones, processed food, all of this stuff to actually make you age you and look older. So there's a lot of women in that country, they actually, the young women, there are 16-year-olds that are already betrothed to other men that are in higher power because it provides them a good lifestyle. Like, that's just how it is. So when it comes to underage and them knowing it, that's foul. That's just disgusting. But if they don't know any better and it's a choice that they're choosing to make, like if I was a guy and I was like, I don't want to get with any of these American women, like I want more bang for my buck, if this is the lifestyle I'm going to live right now because I don't want to get married.
Exactly what I said.
What the hell? Get back to your square. Get back to your square, sir.
So then I'm like, okay, well then, of course there was a guy. I know plenty of guys that in my old marriage, like, they would do that. They literally would, like, you know, when I retire, because they're capping out at 95% of their retirement, they go and live in these other countries. Guys are already divorced and their women from America completely took them for everything. And they're like, I'd rather go out there and find a woman that actually knows what it's like to be a wife, how to take care of the husband, how to have a good family, how to do all these things and make more bang for my buck, go farther. So yes, but I also agree on a different note, like that women will get with guys that are not really their cup of tea, basically because they provide them with a good lifestyle living. But that does not mean that she sees a guy that has a great body, Giga Chad, showing up cleaning her pool, and her husband's at work. You best to believe that she's like, oh, we're just not going to find out. Or if he's like, oh, this kid, I really love you, and it starts to get serious, she's going to freaking fire him before anything ever finds out. And third note, same as you, I am so guilty of that. I have found dudes that absolutely had nothing, no pocket of money. And then I was just like, so, and I can't tell you all the money I did trying to change my coiffed them all up. I made them look good. I got them jobs. They fucked it up. Sorry. And then all this other stuff. And I was just like, well, you know, I can't keep supporting you. You know, like it's okay to support dreams for somebody. Try to give them the benefit of the doubt. See if they just maybe had a hard time in life because that's what their life sounded like. It sounded like a whole bad book nightmare. And you're like, oh, you poor thing. And then you're like, oh,
I did the same thing. I started like checking resources. Like, can you give him a job? He just need a job.
Exactly. All he needs is to start somewhere. Somebody give him a chance. I buy him a suit.
High value friend. Don't you have an opening over there at the office?
Yes, exactly.
So let me ask you something. So, ladies, can I ask you both something? Ladies?
Never again. Go ahead, Haran.
Can I ask you both something then?
Yes.
So can you both admit that when a man is at his physical apex, women tend to be a lot more lenient when it comes to certain things? And a lot more, how should I say, what is the word that I'm looking for? Preferential, or is there privilege in that?
Let me clarify what Haran was saying for Coco, because I know she's a little confused. Hey, you remember when you saw me competing? Okay, that's your answer, Haran. That's your answer.
See,
let me answer.
The eyeballs went to the left, went straight up into the air to the left.
Let me answer. Men also have pretty privilege, of course. Good-looking people get away with a lot of shit.
Okay, then. But do you think that women often admit that men have pretty privilege as much as they should?
I do. I just told Glenn this the other day. I was like, you know what? Like, women got the short end of the stick. Like, you guys wake up and you're already beautiful. You have naturally longer lashes. Stop. And then, like, all you have to do is take a shower, wash your face, and comb your hair. You don't have to put on makeup. You ain't got to shave your legs. You don't have to get yourself waxed. Like, you ain't got to coif yourself up, because even in the animal kingdom, the males look so much prettier than the females. And I'm like, well,
okay, that sounds great. Now, can I ask one more thing? Has there ever been a guy in your life who was, let's just say, either on the portly side, or he might have been as physically attractive, but he was great to you? He was a solid guy. He had a solid personality, and he had all these great and wonderful qualities internally. But there was another guy in your life who, for Jen, let's just use the dude on the beach in the tent, and for Coco, we'll just say the day that you saw Glenn on stage. Now, say if there were, I'm not saying that Glenn is an asshole, which he is though, but let's just say for what it is.
Hey, it's okay. I'm an asshole.
You know what I mean? Let's just say, okay, if he's not as, his personality isn't like, oh yeah, you know, I do anything for you, as the other guy who isn't as attractive. Are you still a bit more leaning towards the guy who's still more physically appealing as opposed to the guy who isn't physically appealing?
No, my ex-husband, like, he was not attractive. Not even my cup of tea. And first of all, when I met Glenn, he didn't look like he did when he was on stage. I steered completely away from him. I went in the other direction of the gym. He pursued me. I was like, get away from me. So
let's get it. Hold on.
No.
We gotta clarify.
Let her finish. She's in the middle of something. Can you please finish?
I'm gonna walk over there.
Please finish.
Glenn was not my cup of tea either. He wasn't. Not at all. Like, I didn't want anything to do with him. He was a nice guy, but, you know, whatever. So he pursued me. I didn't pursue him. So, like, my ex-husband, like, I've had experiences where, like, you could have, like, I'm a very attractive woman, not trying to sound conceited, but I work really hard for my body. I have since I was little. I did track, sports, everything, and I have so many degrees and stuff in nutrition and health and skin and all this stuff. So, like, for me, I'm like, I want to look this good when I'm 99. So for me, it's like, I've been with dudes that are absolutely, God said, gorgeous, but they were complete jerks. And I left, couldn't do it. So my ex-husband was the only guy after all the other men that I dated. Like my first fiance was like that. He was beautiful. 6'2", chiseled body. Like, he was amazing. But he cheated on me a week before our wedding. Left him. Didn't care. Didn't care. Tried to lie about it.
Ouch.
Did not care. But then I went through a string of guys that were my type. And I was like, these dudes are all assholes. So when I met my ex-husband, I grew up with him, which is the only reason why I gave him a chance, because he was younger than me, biggest mistake. But he wasn't anything that I liked physically. But at that point in time, he was the nicest guy. Like, he thought of me. He provided for us. Like, no matter what he had to do, he made sure that we were taken care of. And that mattered to me. And that showed a lot. I had a lot of respect for him. And then he changed and he was a narcissist and all this other stuff. So then, like, to answer your question, and not like, for me, if a guy that's amazing looking is not a decent dude, I won't give him the time of day. Because I will still find a man that's not in his physical appearance to me and like, I will still find him actually attractive as long as he's not obese, because of the way he treats me, desires me, and values me. That's my answer.
Gotcha.
Glenn, what's your height?
I'm 6 foot.
You're 6 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So to answer your question, Haram, because I'm also an asshole. I'm a very visual creature.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family of very fit men. I think I told you my father changed our family room to a gym in a Bronx apartment. Floor to ceiling mirrors, heavy bag, dumbbells. So my entire life, I was around strong, tall men. That is what I see as protector, provider, and that is what I'm naturally drawn to. I dated the chubby guy. Here's what I learned. There's a huge chance that no matter what man you get with, he may falter, be an asshole, cheat, or whatever. So while I'm in a relationship with a man, I'm going to choose the eye candy. Because when I was with the chubby guy, he fucked up worse than anybody attractive I had been with. So I just like, then what the fuck is the point? Like, women think the chubby guy, the short guy is safe. Then he turns out to be an asshole too. So I'm just going to play it safe and have the eye candy walking around in his tight white.
Well, there's a saying.
Because I'll be having fun along the way. So I don't do the charity cases anymore. No, I'm not supporting the rap career, David Dillon. I'm not taking anybody off the beach or out of a tent anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Yeah,
doing
wait.
She's moved up to Vans now.
Wait a minute.
You be in a van and you got a check.
You supporting the rap career, Jen?
No, David Dillon just asked. No, never supported the rap career. Singing career.
But here's the thing.
Could he sing? Could he sing?
Yes.
Like Luther Vandross.
He was one of the people that co-founded the 5-part harmony in R&B. Very, he was a name, but you know.
Sounds like somebody like New Edition.
I gotta ask you that. I gotta ask you the question.
It was Bobby. It was Bobby after Whitney left.
I gotta. Oh shit.
No, but he was, you know, like Coco said, he was just a psychopath, narcissist, psychopath, crazy. But he looked, he was like, he looked like an African god. He was like freaking. You remember when Jumon Hansu first hit the scene in Janet Jackson's video? Other guys have tried before, and Jamal Hansu was on that thing. That is what.
The dude from Amistad.
Yes. So I was like, okay, how much money do I have in this account?
Oh shit.
You need a ticket out here, baby. I got my own place. I'm just saying, you having a rough time, you going through a rough time. So yes, and that I will admit, I was as bad as a dude. And during that era, I was like, yo, you hot.
I understand.
I'm about to say something that's probably a lot of women are not going to like, but it's true. Women don't want a man to cheat, but they want a man that's capable of cheating, that has options.
I will say that. I've seen that. Yes, I have.
And it's because it stands for social proof, right? So if all your girlfriends think your guy is ugly, you're gonna question whether or not you're with the right guy. You're like, oh my God, he's kind of... So that's what I'm saying. Like, if for women, it's social proof. They want to be with the guy that has the options to cheat but won't cheat. Meaning has the character of a loyal man, but they know that he has the options if he wanted to do so, because it's social proof. Women are they're all too social. They're so social that they're like, what do you think? Girls always go, what do you think of my boyfriend? Girls always ask their girlfriends, what do they think their boyfriend? Oh, he's cute. Or what do you think about that guy over there? Oh, he's cute. Guys don't do that.
We also know when we're dating an ugly guy. We be like, girl, I know he ugly. Like, we also know when we're dating an ugly guy.
So y'all,
I thought a lot of the guys that I've dated like a Picasso. I'm like, I know his face is jacked up and his nose is in the wrong place. He's a fucking Picasso. Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. I know he's ugly.
Hold on, look at Tristan's last comment. You need some counseling?
That is...
I'm a softie. I'm just an asshole depending on the song I'm listening to prior to an argument.
Jen, remember that video that we saw of it was the mixer and the chick was there by herself?
Yes.
And there was nothing but women there. One dude actually said something that was I kind of felt where he was going with it. He said, any dude at one of those mixes, a woman's gonna look at him as a dude that don't get no chicks. So he's most likely going to strike out if he actually shows up to one of those mixes. But eventually, the mixer that they had, that they were kind of clowning, eventually it had a couple of guys show up. Ironically, though, one of the women said that none of the men that showed up were actually formidable.
So Kenny McBear said, "Oh, I definitely could bag Jen." Lord, wow. The new Jen or the old Jen? Come up and I'll ask you some questions.
Oh God, she's about to rate him.
I'll let you know if we go on a date.
Oh boy.
About to rate him.
Well, this was
come up, Kenny. I'll let you know if you could bag me. And I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest.
We're gonna ask him his dress size.
Oh my God. She's gonna ask him about the 6'6".
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, the 7s. The 7s.
The 7s. Might be the 8-8s, depending on what Jen feeling that day. Jen be on some shit.
Those are overrated, for the record. Kenny, come up and I'll let you know if you could bag me, because he's talking real tough in the chat. And I'll be honest.
But the funny thing is like, let's get back to the topic. Like, these guys going.
Oh, he's married. He said he's married. You don't want to talk about bagging people. Yeah, that's a little extra. Sorry, now
bro.
He's married.
What they say, you can't make this shit up?
You really can. Like, I feel dumbfounded for words. Like, oh, I could bag her. Oh, but I'm married. Just kidding. Like, hey, more power to you. But it's back to the topic.
You shot without a basketball.
Eli, I'm helping with your content. Kudos to you.
Well, thank you so much. What would I do without Kenny McBear?
So the only problem with all this is what we're talking about is the underage aspect, correct? Yes. All right. I think we could all agree here that any guy sleeping with underage people is disgusting. I mean, R. Kelly, disgusting. Michael Jackson, disgusting. Okay. I mean, but the sad thing is, here in America, we if they are of the right status or if they play our favorite song, we look the other way. How many women, after Michael Jackson came out, they were still taking their kids to Neverland Ranch? Okay, like, so it's like we say it's disgusting on one hand, but we celebrate the success of them on the other. It's like we need to realize that it's just their status should not determine their success or whether we think they're disgusting or not. Michael Jackson is disgusting. I don't care what anybody says. He had great music, but he was disgusting. R. Kelly is a known disgusting piece of shit, and we all know he made great music. But we live in a culture that will literally overlook these things for, Michael Jackson. Okay, yeah. When he said any little boy is welcome to spend the night and sleep in his bed. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, that's pretty. We already know where that's going. You know, but you know, when what we do is we overlook their success here in America, and that's exactly what a lot of these places do in these third world countries. They overlook what these men are doing because of the money that they're bringing and their alleged success. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're no different in contrast. But
Well,
we
I throw I throw the baby out the bathwater. Like when you talk about, you know, R. Kelly and the Epsteins and the Michael Jackson, I can, you know how they say, well, you got to separate the man from the music. I just throw it all away. I stop listening to it. I don't care. Like, and and that's because there's a plethora of artists on the planet who have amazing, amazing music and have amazing sitcoms and have, there's so many artists that I don't have to die on the hill of Michael Jackson or R. Kelly. I can throw them out with that. There were a lot of cats singing R&B back then that were fucking amazing and have hit songs. So I don't give a fuck what you put out, what movie you were in, whatever. I throw them out with the bathwater.
I blame R. Kelly for Avant's lack of success in his career. Just saying.
Black 585 said MJ never molested a child, you idiot. I'll say this. We don't know if he molested a child because we weren't in that room and we weren't in that bed. But I will say this. Even if Michael Jackson never molested a child, it is deviant, it is despicable, and it's disgusting that a grown man was rotating little white boys in and out of his bed until they were a certain age. That we can't deny, that we all saw with our own eyes, that we heard Michael Jackson say, the best thing you could do is share your bed with a child. That we saw, and we overlooked it because the motherfucker moonwalked. Let's be clear. Let's call a thing. Let's call a spade a spade.
And let's not forget,
hold on, Glenn. I asked the question the other day on my Facebook. Would a pop star get away with that today in this environment with social media? Would we let a brand new pop star, say Chris Brown, rotate little white boys, okay, pre-teens, in his bed? They would crucify him today. So let's not overlook that Michael Jackson out of his own mouth said he was sharing his bed. Let's not overlook that we saw him take these little boys to award shows. And let's not overlook that every time one of them hit 12 or 13, he got a new one in there. Those are facts. Those aren't rumors. Now, whether or not he molested them all out, none of us can say no. None of us can say yes. We were not in that bed, but them little boys were in that bed. Michael Jackson himself said it.
I don't understand the point of him using Elvis Presley. Are we using Elvis Presley because we're doing the thing that black people do, where we use white people as a moral compass? Because you can't use white people as a moral compass when bad shit is done, and then sit here and behave as if black people are morally superior to white people. All right, be careful of that.
Well, you know what's funny is like the FBI found nothing. Actually, no, they did. They found a bunker at the Neverland Ranch with a whole bunch of homemade fucking child pornography. Now, I was living in Santa Barbara area at the time. I was very well attached to the case. Like I knew the case really well. My stepdad is a professional musician who's actually recorded at the Neverland Ranch. So I mean, like I know a little bit more. They found this bunker of his child pedophilia that was deemed inadmissible to court because it wasn't documented in the search warrant where they're allowed to search. But they found this on this property, this bunker with all this child stuff. But because it wasn't in the description of the search warrant, it was considered inadmissible. So, I mean, did he do it? Don't know. But when they threw out all that evidence, because it was due to a technicality, that none of the evidence was viewed in court. So to Black 85 or 585, they wouldn't have been able to see it to convict them because the judge threw it out because they consider it inadmissible. So, I mean,
let me say this real quick, and I'm not going to stay on Michael Jackson because he was a fucking weirdo. I don't care how great his music was, okay? Again, even without molestation, he was a deviant. He was a deviant. No grown man in his 30s and 40s should be rotating little boys in and out of his bedroom. He was a deviant. The man was not well. So it doesn't matter. Hugh Hefner, Elvis does not erase a black deviant. You cannot use a white deviant or a white rapist to absolve a black deviant and a black rapist. You cannot do that. White rapists and white deviants do not absolve and erase black deviants and black racists. It does not happen. And as far as him not being found guilty, so was George Zimmerman. What did you think about the justice system then? So were a lot of white cops that killed black unarmed men. What do you think about the justice system then? Okay, so let's not cap. The justice system only works if a black rapist gets off, if a black child molester gets off, then it's like, hey, he was found not guilty. So was George Zimmerman.
I just want to state a fact.
You can't pick and choose when the law is giving you the right verdict. You can't pick and choose. Let's not be that ignorant, people.
I just want to state a fact real quick. Harvey Weinstein was essentially he was essentially bagged up and sent to prison before R. Kelly was. Okay, R. Kelly was essentially allowed to do what he did for a matter of 20 to 30 years, and people turned a blind eye. R. Kelly's money and privilege allowed him to behave in the way that he did and molest and rape young women and young boys. Oh yeah, there's boys too. You know what I mean? People who are in the industry also are aware that there's boys involved also. But R. Kelly was, in many ways, had a lot more privilege than a lot of the white people that you're naming. So I just want you people to keep that in mind.
Yeah, seriously. But what I was getting at.
Come on, let's not do that. Like, it's like, hey, we got black rapists because Elvis. We got black rapists because Hugh Hefner. It sounds so. It makes you suspect in my eyes. So it's like the black guy on your block who could sing, could rape kids because Elvis married a 14-year-old. Yes, I'm crazy. Knock it off.
I mean, and this guy saying that parents pimped out their kids, R. Kelly. It still doesn't make R. Kelly less of a deviant. He could have chose not to fuck the 12-year-olds, or he chose to. He's still just as sick as twisted as anybody else. But what I was getting at is that some
of y'all sound like I was messing with young girls, man.
Right.
I mean, y'all going real hard for this, man. Some of y'all sound like I was messing with some young girls at a certain age in life. And you know what I mean?
Their minds telling them no.
He definitely, Black 585 is definitely ignorant to R. Kelly. I've been to Chicago a couple times. Everyone in Chicago knows that R. Kelly used to frequent the junior high schools. Everybody, it is a no. If you are from Chicago, if you are really from Chicago, it is all news that R. Kelly frequented with his entourage in his own fucking car, okay, the junior high schools in Chicago. It was a thing. And everybody overlooked it because he was R. Kelly and had hit records. So I don't know what you're talking about. Parents pimp their kids to R. Kelly. Maybe you're talking about later on in the years, but R. Kelly was known for frequenting playgrounds damn near. So you definitely don't know.
I mean, he was confessing it in his own damn songs. My mind is telling me no, but my body.
But when someone says the justice system works for white people, they don't know the justice system. The justice system works for money. That's why Bill Cosby got caught up damn near half dead. But he was doing his thing 70s, 80s, 90s. That's why R. Kelly got caught up damn near half dead, because his money allowed him to keep grooming 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, marrying a 15-year-old because he had money. So the
translation is that it's not that the justice system is necessarily racist. It's just that most black people ain't got no money to get a good lawyer.
The justice system is racist. It only likes green.
Well, no, it's racist. It's racist to a degree.
It only likes green. If you got the green, then you're free.
Yeah.
OJ Simpson filleted a white woman, and he walked out.
Okay. You know what? The glove don't acquit. The glove don't fit. You must acquit.
Okay, he filleted a blonde, blue-eyed white woman, and he walked his ass out of jail. Why?
It came out with a book.
If I did it. If I did it.
Have blood on his sock. So let's not do this. Tawana G is in the building. Hey, love. It's good to see you. You coming at the end. You late as hell. We were going in.
But I want to say, like, you know, the whole passport bros thing, like it's disgusting in the sense if it's using children, you know, because you mentioned earlier that prostitution is the oldest, you know, business in the world, and it's true. I mean, it's biblical, you know, it's been around forever. So women are always going to use whatever resources they have to sustain a lifestyle or to get resources to acquire the lifestyle they want. And we seen that here in America as soon as the pandemic hit. I mean, you guys know that OnlyFans was not invented for sluts, right? It wasn't invented for women to show their asses off. It was actually a platform designed for you to connect with your favorite celebrity, whether it's a basketball player or an actor or a singer. That's what the platform was originally used for. But then the pandemic hit and nobody was working, and then women resorted back to their innate nature of, what do I have that men want or that people want? And they gave it out. They gave it out. Exactly.
Look, listen. There's no reason in the world any woman should starve to death. It might sound messed up, but there's no reason any woman should starve to death, because look, no matter what you look like, no matter how you're built, somebody gonna pay for it, baby. I promise you, somebody gonna pay for it.
There's a simp out there with a wad of cash ready to spend that money just to see your digital ass.
And that's just it.
No, I have lived in my car before with my baby dog, and I have never ever taken money from a man from that. Like, I was like, I'd rather live in my car and be homeless than have to deal with another dude and I have to worry about some fat simp guy probably wanting to, like, the ones that I know, I'm like, well, you know, like, probably can make it work right now just because I really need this food. Nah, I'll be that person on the side of the freeway wiping your windows in just a sports bra rather than going on OnlyFans and all this stuff and then having a simp pay for my food. I don't mind working for my money. I'll find a way to do it. Yeah, I'll help with my
Bikini car wash, everybody.
Exactly. I was like, I'll do the Daisy Dukes and the crop top or something at the body for it, but I'm not gonna have a simp pay for it. I'll work and you can look at it, but I ain't gonna be naked either.
Well, you know, I mean,
I got a truck that needs washing right now. The truck just got rained on. Man, you want to know? Okay.
With all due respect, Coco, you do have that choice, though. Like, Jen has a choice. You know what I mean? The two of you're in the spaces where you do have a choice. Do not assume that everyone has a choice. It's what I call the Lori Harvey theory. You know what I mean? Everybody assumes that.
That whole Lori debauchery soon. Maybe.
Yeah, like, everybody assumes that they're in the space where they have those kind of choices. You know, and those kinds
like
of
a choice.
options.
Yeah, it was a choice for me not to accept that. Again, I was homeless. I literally was living in a car at a park because I parked my car there. It died. And this is like after I had gotten a divorce because I left him and I was like, I don't care if I have no money. I just grabbed my dog, put everything in my car. I left and my car died at the park because I was like, at least Dexter can have a place to walk, go to the bathroom, we can run around. And I did what I had to do. Like, what do you mean choice? Like, yeah, a woman has a choice if she wants to sell her body or not. And most of these women that actually do, they're actually not that attractive. But they know it's because men are not wanting to actually go out there. And we've had conversations on Glenn's podcast before about that. Like, men are not wanting to put themselves out there these days, and it's easier for them to just go online and pay $20 to see somebody naked, whether they're finding them physically super attractive or not. It's just easy. So what do you mean by choice? Because yeah, I chose not to take money, or I choose to work for it to find some way, so that way I don't have to subject myself to something that, one, is unbiblical, and two, I know that it would change. It changes you and your appearance and how people view you and see you.
You know, it's funny because I had this conversation with Coco before. It's like, you know, the statistics show that, like, the hottest women don't have many bodies, but it's all these average ass heifers that have, like, bodies on bodies on bodies. And it's because they're allowed to, because they find, like, it's like the hot girls know their value. They know what their value is. And these average girls or below average girls are sleeping with guys to acquire value. You know?
Let me just interject, because I really wanted to actually answer what you were saying. When I said what I said, you know what I mean, towards you and Jen, let me be a little bit more let me be hopefully I can bring my point across a little bit better. One of the things that I tell Jen is that when you know what I mean, I usually judge people based on the degree of options that they have, or how much self-respect that they have for, you know what I mean, for themselves when they go down a particular road. Now, Jen doesn't necessarily have to choose certain things. You know what I mean? She could have very well, you know what I mean, married rich. She could have married white and rich. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I will, and this is no cap, this is no gas, but she chose to go down a particular road in life. You know what I mean, Coco? I will say this: you are a very, very beautiful woman. You didn't necessarily have to sleep in your car. You know what I mean? You chose to do that, and kudos to you. That says something about your particular character. Now you chose to sleep, you know what I mean, sleep in your car, but you also put the work in. That's the difference. So you put yourself in a situation where you still weren't going to starve. You know what I mean? So it's like this. When I said that, if there's a woman out there who's going to starve to death, it's like, look, if you ain't going to sell it, you might as well get up and go out there and get a goddamn job. See, men, we don't necessarily have those kinds of options. It's either you eat, either you work, or you die. Men, we don't have those kind of options. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Now, yeah, you work
out, get chiseled. Somebody may.
I mean, I was just about to say that. I mean, if you're chiseled, if you look like you fell from Mount Olympus and you hung down to your ankles, you can make something shake. You can make something shake for a little bit. You know what I mean?
A Puerto Rican girl in the Bronx may move you in if you got a six-pack.
Right. So, but the odds of that, most men have to, you know what I mean, go out there and work.
That makes more sense. I thought you meant like just a woman's standpoint. I didn't understand that you were saying you as a woman have that choice, but us men don't, because you are absolutely right when it comes to that.
That's why I had to clarify.
Yeah, there's not very many men on, unless they're gay, that are on camming and doing stuff like that where they can make that money. So yes, what you're saying is absolutely 100% correct. We as women have more of a choice on how we choose, but these days women
ain't nobody paying money to see dudes like that. I mean,
when I was 18, I bought my first deck of nude cards.
Well,
so I did.
But Tristan, a lot of them dudes that I follow have OnlyFans. Like, a lot of the trainers now are getting OnlyFans. I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, so guys are selling booty now. Like,
yeah, and
it's cool.
It's funny.
That's cool,
here's the thing, though.
I guarantee you. Wait 1 second, Glenn. I guarantee you, them dudes are making more money than the average chick on OnlyFans.
And you know what?
I don't care how popping them abs are.
And I guarantee you, more than 90% of their OnlyFans subscribers are gay guys jerking off.
And that's what it is. And that's what it is.
You know,
and that's what it is. Okay, look.
That's
even
called
even in the sexual marketplace. I'll keep it a buck with you. Glenn and I would probably have to, not even probably, in order to, like, the levels of, in terms of who has more sexual market value, is completely different. Like, Glenn and I would have to be in tip-top condition just to probably even compete with the number that the average 6 or 7 gets. You know what I mean? In terms of women, man, it's just not the same thing. A 6 and a 7 woman and a 6 and a 7 guy are not on the same playing field. You know what I mean? It's just they do not have the same number of options.
That's because men have a lesser threshold when it comes to standards. Like, everybody knows that, like, the guy go to the club looking for a girl and he passes a fat chick like, no, I'm not doing it, right? But comes closing time, he's like, well, look, You know, ain't nobody gonna know.
Yo.
Every
Look,
guy has a fat chick story. All right, I don't care.
Listen. You know how many people walking this earth right now because of the very words, ain't nobody gonna know. Okay, a lot of us are here because of that. Because of that.
Seriously,
Listen, give me some names. Let's go through them names.
But what I'm saying is, like, you know, women won't do that. Women will go to a club, and if they don't find a guy at their level, they'll go home. They won't lower their standards as the night progresses.
I've seen that.
But guys tend to do that. Guys will be like, no, I want a 10. All right, it's midnight. All right, I'll go with an 8. Oh, it's 1:30. It's last call. Shit.
Yes.
A 4 sounds good to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys
because we don't want to go empty-handed.
Women wouldn't do that.
Women
Yeah, because men don't want to go empty-handed, Jen. Men are natural negotiators. When we go up to a spot, because we say to ourselves, like, man, I done did all this, I done did all that stuff. I need a story to go home with. I need something to say, all right, I left with something.
They want to feel like they accomplished something. All they did was accomplish how to walk out with shame.
Exactly. Because if you tell your boys, like, yeah, I was there for like 4 or 5 hours, they could be like, yeah, and what happened? Nothing. Your boys are gonna look at you like, why are you even telling the fucking story then? Like,
yep. And then they're gonna leave out all the details too. Like, yeah, I went to the club, met this girl, went home and smashed. He's not gonna tell her that she was a 2.5 though. They're gonna leave that shit out. They're gonna be like, nah.
Exactly.
No, I get that. That's totally true. Because when men go out, they have this mentality of like, all right, I'm gonna get in these masks tonight. And so it's like I said, it's so true. I have done that to my old best friend. Like, he would go to the bar and we went out once, and then we were partying together. I was trying to be his wingman. He was like, no, I'm just myself. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then like as the night went, and he started like, he was like, oh yeah, that girl. And I'm like, because that she was out of his league. He's that kind of guy where he's naturally like a 6 on the guy scale, but he thinks he's a 10, and it's because of things he has to offer. He is a sweet guy. He makes 6 figures a year, and he's young. So, and, like, he has his own condo. Like, he thought because of that, whatever. And as the night progressed, like, he kept going. So I was like, oh, you're gonna strike out. He kept striking out, and then he's like, fuck. I can't go home empty-handed. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to leave you. You go do your thing. I'm going home. And then, like, I knocked on his door the next day, and I was like, so how'd it go? And he's just like, you could just see shame. Shame, because he did that. He's like, well, I just ended up hooking, like, up with just, like, one chick. Yeah, and it's just, that's what happens, and it's sad because he's like, well, when men have that mentality, like, I'm going out and I'm going to achieve this tonight, and the night starts dwindling away, they're like, I don't care, I can't go home a loser. So, like, they're just like whatever they can get, and it's sad. And women are more picky. I'll look at my girlfriend and be like, what did you do sleeping with that? Like, just more standards. Like, if I can't get the guy that I want at the end of the night, I'd rather go home alone and play with my toy.
Yeah, I can't get with that. All right, guys, so I'm gonna rest my voice. So I want to end with a question, and then your final thoughts on the Passport Bros as I presented it. Like I said, I don't have a problem with prostitution. I don't give a damn about prostitution. It ain't my pussy. Sell it. Get it how you live, right? My issue was with the underage thing. But there's another factor to this where a lot of men are doing it because they can't, quote unquote, handle American women, or American women have too much money or too many degrees or too strong or too black, too whatever. So what do you think about that aspect of it, where it's not just that they're getting vagina for $20-$40, but that the factor of them not being able to deal with American women? Do you think that that's a weakness? So answer that for me, and then give me your final thoughts, and then Mama's gonna go rest her voice. Thank you everybody in the chat for participating. You guys are off the chain, had me laughing the whole time. Thank you, panel. Thank you so much, Coco. It's so great to have a woman up here to break up the testosterone. Hit that like and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome, salute, hit that subscribe, and I will see you. I am back for good. I just can't go past 2 hours because I'm still healing. All right, guys. So ladies first, Coco, give me your opinion on the question, and let's close this out.
Again, as we said earlier, so not based off of the prostitutions you do, as long as they're of legal age. Those that are younger, it's not appropriate. As far as the reason why, because of men can't deal with the American women, I agree. If I was a guy, because of the way that modern women are today, they're very toxic. They have a lot of attitude. Nobody has that old traditional standard of what a woman is supposed to be to a man. As long as he's a good man, obviously, I would never promote that if the man is not a decent man. And girls are basically just looking for like their next payday. So it's too much for a risk for a guy out here in America. But when you go to these other countries, that's why guys are going to Russia. They're going to other countries because those women hold those values and put a man at a place and see him where he's supposed to be and biblically where he's supposed to be. So they're just overall in general better partners for men. So.
Okay. So do you think it's because they're more docile?
I think they're more compliant and understanding to what the role is as a woman, based on the expectations of what that man is wanting.
Okay. Do you think there's also, do you think that there's also a factor of these women are damn near starving, so these guys are appealing because they're coming with more money?
Oh, that definitely plays a factor for some women. Absolutely. You'd have to vet the woman a lot in order to figure that out in those kinds of countries. And you have to know as a man properly how to do that to make sure you don't end up making the wrong choice. But there are definitely going to be women that are like just wanting their green card and wanting somebody that can support them and take care of them. So they're going to love you a long time. And then there are those women that really just want a good man that can provide for them so they can do all the things, bear them children, be a perfect wife, cook for them, because they see where he is on the threshold as far as being a man and providing and security and safety. And she values that in a man. So she cherishes that and she is looking for that guy because she knows in that her life is going to be secure.
Okay. So I'll love you long time, but I need them 7s. I'll settle for a 6, but I'm aiming for them 7s. I'll even speak Spanish. Glenn, what say you? Because I know you got a lot to say. First of all, my question, okay? My question, and then get into your final thoughts. This should be interesting. Everybody buckle up.
Okay, so we're disregarding the prostitution aspect of it. We're talking about, or the underage aspect of it. We're talking about guys going overseas to look for more traditional or complementary women, right?
Hey, Ask Nathaniel is in the building. I was talking about you earlier. Ask Nathaniel. There goes the correct spelling of his channel. Please follow him. He is the new world order in these spaces. That's all I got to say. Tawana G, Ask Nathaniel. That's the guy I was telling you about. And hopefully we can get him up here on the panel one day. Be ready to laugh. Okay, you guys, we brag about getting the truth in these spaces. This is a whole new truth. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
So I don't see a problem with it. I really don't. I don't look at it as like, oh, they can't deal with American women. I look at it as that they don't want to. It's not that they can't. They don't want to. They don't want to put up with the bullshit that modern women here in America have. They want women that enjoy a masculine man to lead them, that enjoy a man to provide for them, and appreciate and respect those provisions and the things that the men are willing to do. I don't think the average American woman here, because the average American male makes about 50 to 60,000 a year. Okay, that's no broad out here wants a guy that makes 50 or 60,000 a year. They don't want that. So they're like, look, this is what I can make. This is me at my apex. If my apex is 50 to 60,000 a year, and I don't have the skill set to acquire more, then I'm going to go where my resources are going to be most appreciated. So if a woman from Bangladesh is going to appreciate me and the things that I offer her more than a woman here in America, that's not me copping out and saying I can't deal with American women. It's saying I choose not to. And that's a choice. And I think that's not saying like, oh, he's less of a man because he's choosing to go find somebody that actually is going to appreciate him more. And I think that doesn't make him less of a dude because he doesn't do that. Because at the end of the day, it's personal choice. Why should I want a high maintenance woman if I don't want high maintenance in my life? You know what I'm saying? So if they decide, because like my brother, my brother's in the Navy. He's been to Dubai. He's been all over the world. He went to Italy. He married this Romanian girl. Lovely girl. And she's very traditional. Her family is very, very traditional. Like their family raises the kids for them. It's crazy how traditional they are. And I was like, why did you marry Romanian? You want American? He's like, dude, I love the lifestyle that they have out there. I love how they're so family knitted. Their family is everything to them. In America, we don't give a damn about family. Let's get it straight. We have so many broken homes and so many broken marriages for the most dumbest reasons these days, that they're not willing to, here in America, we're not willing to work to fix it. We're willing to leave and find something else. Out there, they're like, no, we're going to make this work. We made this commitment. We're going to fix this problem if there's a problem. And they have a great family out there. And, he's retiring from the Navy and he's living out there soon. And because he loves that lifestyle, he'd rather raise his kids out there in the lifestyle that they have out there in that family environment than come out here to the States. And I don't fault him for that. I'm not saying that, because he can't handle the States or bringing the kids out here and that. No, he just chooses not to. Why deal with the problem if you don't have to deal with the problem? So if American women are not, or these guys are leaving America to go find women elsewhere because they don't like the way women behave in America, that's not them saying like, I can't handle it. It's like, I don't want to handle it. Why put up with the headache if I don't have to? That's just my opinion.
All right, so let me push back just a little bit. You said that, the men go out there because they feel more appreciated. Don't you think it's because the women have much lower standards and the women are poverty stricken? Like these guys aren't going out there, passport bros specifically, they're not going out there to build better families. They're to and fro America, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
Dominican Republic. Wait, let me just finish. Dominican Republic, Brazil, etc., specifically to have sex with women for $20 and $40 and what have you. So is it that they're appreciated more out there, or the women are like, look, I will take anything that comes off that plane because I am starving. I have 3 children I have to feed. So is it appreciation, or these women just have the lowest standards that any woman could have because they are selling their vagina?
Well, I think there's two different, conversations here. Yeah, if we're talking about passport bros going overseas, banging these chicks for cheap, and then coming back to America, you have to look at it from an economical standpoint. They can't afford to bang the chicks here in America because it costs too much for them, but they know that if they go to another country, that their money goes long ways. So they could bang as many girls as they want out there. That's a simple economics. That's really what it comes down to. It's an economical strategy. Like if buying a house in California is going to cost me $1 million, but I could go to Kansas and I could buy 10 houses in Kansas for $1 million. Why the fuck would I buy a house in California? I'll just buy 10 houses in Kansas. Make my money there, make it last longer. So I think for those guys with that mentality, I think they would want to bang the California girls or American girls, but they can't afford to. So they take their resources elsewhere where they could get more for their dollar. And that's simple economics. Now, is it disgusting? Sure, I think anybody that's paying to play is disgusting. I think it's just sad, but it is a thing. But is it? It's only wrong when it's with a minor, in my opinion. If that's what they're going to do, it's wrong with the minor. Now, there are guys, and the other conversation is there are guys finding women in other countries to marry them, to raise a family with them. And it's because those cultures and those customs of those cultures are more traditional and bring more security to the family. Because if a guy's going overseas to find a wife, because he wants to find a wife to have a family with, and he chooses not to find a wife with a woman in America, he's saying the women in America's attitude is this. And this is not going to support my goal of having a family and raising the kids in the household that I would want. But in this country, they do support those values and they do have those things. So I'm willing to go all the way over there and do that. And I think that's two different conversations. Passport bros, they just want cheap hoes because they can't afford American hoes. But the guys that are going overseas and finding wives out there because they want to have a family, they want families with women with culture that supports traditional families. And I think those are two different conversations that we're having that you have to look at.
Okay, so Don Levine said women in other countries have money too, but women in other countries are not checking for the pot-belly pocket guy with the receding hairline, 5'6", jumping off a plane. If a woman has money, she is not checking for that dude, and he can't get anywhere near her. So it's great that women in other countries have money, but they don't qualify for what those passport bros are looking for specifically. So Haran, what say you to the question and your overall thoughts so we can close out and I can rest my voice?
As I said before, this is really all about money. Whenever there's a problem in life, I always tell people follow the numbers, follow the money. America is at a point where money and options have altered the dynamics of the American family. And
you went low, Haran.
You can hear me?
Speak up now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Say it with your chest.
We're at a space right now where money and essentially money has transformed the dynamics of the American family. And by this, I mean, women have options. I said this earlier. Women don't necessarily have to deal. They don't necessarily have to deal with a lot of the economic struggles and mishaps that their grandmothers and their mothers had to deal with. They have their own money. They have their own opportunities. They can be CEOs. They can be all these things. They might not even want marriage. They might not want a traditional situation. You know what I mean? And that, again, that is based entirely on the fact that they have options. You know what I mean? A young lady in a third world country, she does not have a plethora of options. So the sell of a traditional family or the opportunity to, or the idea of actually negotiating that, you don't even have to negotiate it, but presenting the traditional family to her, it's a quicker sell. Because, I mean, what are the options does she really have? If you're coming over there with resources and you're in a much better position, and you're offering her a life that her and her family her generations before her have never experienced, yeah, you're going to be in a good space with her. I also do believe that overall, though, I think what's happening right now is that one of the main reasons why men are having the issues that they're having now with women is because this is the first generation of men out here in the world that are dealing with women that really don't need them. We're the very first generation to have to deal with that, and there's no playbook, there's no archetype to go off of and say that, oh well, they did this and so maybe we're gonna no, we are like, a lot of us are like kind of stuck on stupid. Where it's just like, okay, how do we approach this? And some guys are just saying, well, fuck it, I'm leaving. Flat out. Some guys are just saying, fuck it, I'm leaving, I'm cashing out. I'm going to some place where my money, is respected. My money's longer. And it's no different from, let's just say, moving from New York to down south. You go down there with a New York salary and it's longer, in a rural area. It makes sense. But I think overall, at some point in time, I think men have to ask themselves, do we have to step our game up? Is it time for us to actually become better candidates and better options than our predecessors were? Because our predecessors didn't necessarily have to become better options per se. You just have to become a man. You just have to make sure that you had the money. You have to present the money. You had to, create the frame. And she stepped inside of that. It's not that simple now. A lot of things just aren't that simple. And I think the importance of us coming to the negotiation table and understanding what the needs of both parties are, I don't think a lot of people are having those tough conversations. Those are the kind of conversations that we need to have. Like, you might be in she might be in a particular space. Like, look, man, at the end of the day, yeah, she's making money and he's making money, but like, look, man, no one's going out there and amassing all of these resources to freaking die alone. I mean, like, that's not the overall goal. If you're thinking as a man that, okay, if the financial resources and the power that I had there, my predecessors had there, if that is taken away from me, I have absolutely nothing else to offer, then you're not a man. You're just not a man.
Shots
I mean,
fired.
because if that was the only card that you had to play, and now that card has been taken away from you, you got a lot to work. You got a lot of work to do, bro. You got a lot of work to do. Because guess what, man? There's literally, again, some pool boy out there who's giving some 70 or 80-year-old rich woman the time of her life. And if he can figure it out and you can't, you got some work to do, bro. That's just it.
So I'll say this. Great point, Haran. We haven't touched on the fact that Black women in this country are doing better than Black men, right? That's a fact, right? Education-wise, financially, what have you, and tax bracket. And you just touched on something that's very important. Instead of Black men stepping up to the plate, they're getting left behind. And look at what they're doing. They're going to poverty-stricken countries. They're not just going to countries where women are more agreeable and can speak Spanish to them and love them long time. That's not it. They're literally going to countries where these women are starving, okay, to the point where they're selling themselves not only to them, but to anything that gets off a plane with $40. That says a lot about the men in the Black community. Now, for all you people that's just going to tickle your asshole, just this sign is for you. But I'm talking about specifically the passport bros, okay? The ones that are flying out talking about women here aren't agreeable. They're too Black. They're too strong. They're too independent. Instead of coming up to their level, what they're doing is not only, like Don Levon said, outsourcing their dick, basically, bigger bang for their buck, but they're going even lower than that to poverty-stricken countries where women are starving for those $40. That says a lot about the character of the man, okay? That says a lot about the morals of the man. A lot of these women are underage. I'd say the majority are underage. In the documentaries I saw, I'm going to post it in the caption after I'm done, those women were 18 and under. And that is the majority of those women because they're the ones that make money because these men want women that look really, really young. So, if there's a passport bro, who got his asshole tickled because of everything I said, you're more than welcome to write me on TheBlockWithJen at Gmail. I'll have you on the panel and you can explain. But if you're like a Tony, the guy we had on the panel earlier who was like, oh, I never heard of this. That's not why I moved to Colombia. I make $150,000 a year. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking specifically to these passport bros who brag on YouTube about buying women for $40 and $20. Okay, that is who I'm specifically talking about. I think it's despicable. I think they're taking advantage of women that are living in poverty because there are plenty of prostitutes in America and they'll do whatever you like. They'll call you papi all night, okay? But for some reason, you're going where women are vulnerable, where women are starving. Because if it's just that you want an agreeable woman and you want to, peel off some money, you'd get prostitutes here. There's plenty of prostitutes here. And they'll smile for you and dance for you and do whatever you want. So these men are taking advantage of women living in poverty. It's beyond just women being agreeable, right? They're taking advantage of women living in poverty. And that's what I think is disgusting about the passport bros. It's bigger than women being agreeable. These women are starving. How your dick can even get up for a woman that's starving that is going to take $20 to suck your dick? stay out there. Like, don't come back. Like, because we don't want to deal with these men. So on that note, I said what I said. On the Block with Jen, hit that like and subscribe on your way out. If you have a story for me or some bullshit, on the Block with Jen at Gmail, on the Block with Jen on Instagram. Please follow and sub to Ask Nathaniel, the Billionaire Mindset. I will be there a lot. Hopefully I could get him on the panel soon. Tawana G, my love, you were late. I need you on the panel. Coco, thank you so much for being here. I love when the ladies come up. Glenn, our gender warrior, thank you for being here, sir. Haran, love
Tristan, just so you know, Oprah has an opening for a pool boy.
Can I go be the pool boy? I'll cut my hair for Oprah. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, I heard Oprah into a lot of things, man. I heard she into a lot of things. So maybe for work.
There's a, before I go out, speaking of Oprah, there's a video of Oprah with 2 personal trainers stretching her on her lawn. Have you seen that video?
No, I have not.
There's a video on her page. This is a while ago, but there were 2 guys, okay, very fit, stretching her on the lawn. All right, so Oprah's with the shit.
I bet.
Don't
I bet.
Oprah's with the shit. That's what I thought.
So even Oprah pays for play.
Hey.
Tristan, you got a shot, bro. You got a shot.
All right, guys. On that note, good night. Thank you for bearing with my scratchy voice. Love you all. See you again. I'm back. Mama is back. I know I stayed away a long time, but salute, guys. I see you soon. Fuck them passport boys, nasty asses. Good night. All right, guys, that was another one. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out. You already know what time it is. Bronx, stand up, even though I'm on the West Coast now. But it's all good. And I will see you on the next show. I'm going to keep it juicy for you guys, as you know. Tawana G, I want you up here next time. All right, guys, and I'm out. Good night. Be good to yourself.